You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We are back.
We is here.
Another sultry episode of For Your Distraction. I am one of your hosts, Scott, and
Just
I'm
one.
joined, as always, by a man who would never vote for a fascist. A man who's been training for this show. His legs might not be what they used to be, but he's been training. He's been working hard. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam, how we doing? We doing okay?
We're doing great. We're doing fantastic.
Are we
Scott.
tonight?
We're doing great. I'm having a good
See,
time.
I wasn't sure if you were doing okay.
I'm having a great time.
I've
You kidding
been
me?
I've been following your social media posts this week, and you've been a little out of character.
Yeah, I told you. We talked about this last episode. I stopped giving a shit.
Yeah.
I'm done reaching across the aisle. I'm done reaching to be like, hey, let's talk about this. Let's get each other's thoughts.
Yeah,
No
you
more.
want to burn
No
it down.
more.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
said that. I want
wanna
to burn this
motherfucker down.
Yeah.
I'm done reaching across.
Well,
It's over. So and you know what? I've been having a great week doing it too. Posting a lot of stuff, mainly videos, because one of the things is like you can't just post regular posts like just some status or whatever. You can't do anything like that because there's just say fake news or whatever nonsense. I've been posting mostly videos of like, see what the
Yeah.
hell this person's been saying,
Yeah.
see what the hell this person. Remember when he said this? Remember when our future attorney general said this? Remember whenever the future Secretary of Defense said that?
we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. That's something I forgot.
It's been a great fucking week. It's been a great week.
It's been a great. It's been a great week for influencers, content creators, comedians, guys who have a podcast, but it's not been great for a lot of America.
Big round heads with beards.
Yeah.
Have a podcast. Yeah.
It's been not good for a lot of Americans, and this is shaping out to be a really shitty 4 years.
Do you know what my favorite part of this whole thing? My favorite part of this entire situation was all the posts of people like arrogantly coming out and sitting there saying, like, people are like, "You're gonna lose your health insurance," you know? They're arrogantly coming out and saying, "No, Trump has just promised to take away Obamacare. I get my health insurance through the Affordable Care Act,"
Yeah,
and they're like, You know that's the same thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's the same thing. And then the response is great because they're like, why the hell would the Democrats create two different names for a thing? And it's like, no, the Republicans created the Obamacare name just as like an insult to go against them.
yeah.
It's been great.
It's the term has been coined. The fuck around and find out has happened mind-bogglingly fast.
Let me show you this.
Like-
Last week I brought a chart. I got another chart this week.
He's
on the
got
show.
charts.
I got a chart. This is from Google
Not to
Trends.
be confused with sharts. No sharts.
It's a little, it's a bit of
It's a
lo-
chart that will make you want to shart.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So Google Trends is a fantastic thing.
Yeah,
You can look up
yeah.
Google Trends that people are like searching and like what things are spiking in search and stuff like that.
Okay.
This is what I pull a chart up. You know what that chart is of? This is starting in
Oh.
October 17th. It's going all the way up until today.
Okay.
You know what these two spikes are?
What are the two spikes?
How can I change my vote?
How can I? What are the dates on this? What you got? You
This
got
is
the peak, and then you've
17th.
got the
Peak
plateau.
is like this is right here. The peak is between November 5th. Well, this is November 4th, so this is like early on the peak. But I think there's like a lot of people. Maybe they were like mail-in ballots or something like that. But like here's where it peaks, like November 4th, 5th, and then it peaks down a couple days later, and then like
Peaks again.
a week later, it starts peaking again.
I wonder if those are during the announcements of some of the cabinet positions,
I would have to imagine.
which have been so swampy, man. Like, they've been some of the worst. Like, if I gave you a piece of paper and I was like, all right, worst picks you can imagine, like, you wouldn't be that far off. Like, I'm surprised Bill Cosby's not going to get a cabinet position pretty quick.
But honestly, it is. Like, every single time he announces a new cabinet member, it's like hand to the forehead. Are you him, her, that person?
Yeah.
We got Tulsi Gabbard. She's in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Gaetz,
Which is, oh God,
Matt motherfucking Gaetz.
He was probably going to get thrown out of Congress.
Release the documents. Release the files. Release the whatever shit that they were, the ethics committee forms. Release that. That's what we're all about right now.
Apparently, there's like somewhere between 8 and 10 Republican senators that say they're not going to confirm him. I don't believe that for 1 minute.
Yeah, but he's doing the absentee appointee or the recess appointee shit. That's what's going to happen. Trump is going to do the recess appointment so that nobody can vote for them. He could just put whoever he wants in there. Greatest joke was when Matt Gaetz was disappointed we found out recess appointment wasn't his next date.
Love it.
That's been a fun. That's a dark humor joke for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it was. Yikes.
Who's
Yikes.
Secretary of Defense?
Some guy from Fox News.
Hegseth, is that his name?
Yeah, some guy from Fox News.
The dude with the Iron Cross tattooed on his chest.
Oh, him.
Yeah.
Like the German soldier Iron Cross.
Yeah, the German soldier Iron Cross. He has tattooed on his chest. So just so we're keeping tally on these folks, people.
This is the world we live in. I can't even. Oh, good.
We're gonna talk about it later, but I know how we got into this world. I know.
You figured it out. You figured the moment.
I figured it out. I figured out why we exist in the world we do today.
Like how we got to the darkest timeline.
Yeah, I figured it out.
Because I was trying to think. We speculated that maybe it was the killing of Harambe.
You're not far off.
And then I said maybe it was when the Cubs won the World Series that kind of knocked us off alignment.
You're a little far off there. It's very similar to the Harambe thing.
Okay.
So, and I'm just gonna. It's a great story. It's a sad story. I'm gonna do it now. Let's do it now.
Let's do it now.
So this is how we got in the darkest time. So if you remember Harambe, he was killed.
R.I.P. Never forget.
He was killed. Lovely gorilla.
Viciously murdered. Let's call it what
gorilla.
It is. Say his name.
Was killed. And then shortly after he was killed, Donald Trump was elected to the office.
Yeah.
So
I'm just happy that Harambe never got to live in a world where Donald Trump was president.
How did we get to this timeline, Scott? How did we get to a second Trump presidency? Guess what? It starts with another animal death that happened shortly before the election.
Wait. Are you talking about Peanut the squirrel?
Peanut the motherfucking squirrel.
Peanut the squirrel knocked us off our axis?
Again, it's another unjustified animal death. Because, by the way, it's not just Peanut the squirrel. There was Fred the raccoon that was also in the same apartment, but we don't talk about Fred the raccoon. But he was also taken.
Why don't we talk about Fred the raccoon?
Well, they are not talking about it, is what I'm saying. We need to talk about Fred the raccoon. There was a raccoon that was also living in the same apartment, peacefully, just chilling out. Mind you, the squirrel and the raccoon, at least the squirrel, has been living in that apartment since like roughly 2017. Right. So it's not even like it was a new thing. For those of you who don't know, in New York, there's this guy. That guy has like a pet squirrel that he like rescued or whatever and raised and stuff like that. And so he was just like living in his apartment. He also did the same thing to raccoon, Fred the raccoon. The squirrel became internet famous. There's an Instagram for the squirrel. For years, it's just postings of Peanut the squirrel, and it got to like millions of followers, and it's nuts. Well, some Debbie Downers, some Karens, I guess is what we're going to say, weren't too happy about the fact that they found out that living in their apartment building was a dude who had a squirrel. So they called animal control, human health services, something like that.
Yeah.
To basically say, bro's got a squirrel living in his apartment. It's a wild squirrel that he rescued. Get that shit out of there. I guess, because I've seen a video that he took after the fact, after he was raided. He was raided, by the way. It wasn't like they just came knocking on his door like, hey, can we get that squirrel? They like busted down his door. They like tore drawers out of like dressers and like kicked in walls and like broke a whole bunch of shit looking for a fucking squirrel. And then they euthanized it because I guess it bit one of the animal handlers after it was taken, so they had to euthanize it to test for rabies. But like, That happened before Trump was elected. So we killed Peanut the squirrel. We kill these good animals, and then we're paying for our price. We're paying it. We're paying the cost.
Yeah.
That's the price we have to pay, I guess. So R.I.P. Peanut the squirrel.
Yeah, Peanut
and
the
Fred the
squirrel.
raccoon. Put some love in his name.
Yeah.
So that's.
Why don't they talk about Fred? It's all about Peanut the squirrel. Nothing about Fred the raccoon.
I imagine.
I'll tell you why. Raccoons, they're sneaky. They wear that bandit mask, and they're an animal of color.
Where's the deport the raccoons movement? Where's that? Where's that,
He's
ladies and
native.
gentlemen?
They're native species. Oh, it's a stretch. It's a stretch. I'm very sad about what happened to Peanut and Fred, but I don't know. I don't know if the
That's true enough.
science behind that. It's fair. It's fair. But the fuck around and find out has really, really kicked into high gear. We talked about last week about that company in Ohio that announced to their employees that this year they would not be doing Christmas bonuses
Yeah.
because the company had to spend all their money on buying, I don't know if it was parts, but buying something from China that they need to use. They're buying like 2.5 years worth
Yeah.
before the tariffs kick in.
They're stocking up.
And all these people who work for this company who voted for Trump in Ohio are like, well, what do you mean I'm losing my Christmas bonus? Well, that was the beginning of the fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
It has spiked drastically. So I don't know if you saw this. This made me laugh. There was, I think it's in Dearborn, Michigan. There is a very large Islamic population that live in Dearborn, Michigan. And there are Muslim voters who make up a big portion of the electorate. And one of their leaders, one of their aldermen, whoever, this woman, was getting out there and telling everybody, you cannot vote for Kamala Harris. She was stumping for Jill Stein, but she said, if you're not going to vote for Jill Stein, vote for Donald Trump. You cannot vote for Kamala Harris. A vote for Kamala Harris would be another vote for Joe Biden, who has been nothing but giving money and giving guns to Israel to attack Palestine. Okay, she was very vocal about this beforehand. So the Muslim vote in Michigan wasn't where Harris needed it to be. And a lot of people are crediting her with this. Well, now a lot of these Muslim voters are like, well, wait, okay. Well, what's Trump going to do for Palestine now? And we've said this on the show. He's going to be even worse.
That would have been a question I would have asked
drastically worse
the day before he was
yes,
election
that goes
happened.
along with your spikes.
I'm sorry.
They're like,
That
okay.
would have been a question I would have asked earlier.
And I have a friend. Who was a friend. He's not a friend anymore. To hell with him. Because he voted for Donald Trump this year in Pennsylvania. Never voted for Trump before. He was a Bernie guy. Didn't like Biden. Didn't like Clinton. Wrote in Bernie. Voted third party. But this year, voted for Trump. Because of Palestine. Fully because of what's going on in Palestine. Blaming Biden and Harris an extension for this.
Some of his positions that he's filling are people that are actively against Palestine and people actively against Ukraine.
It's going to be so bad there. There's not going to be a Palestine anymore.
By the way, I don't know if we talked about this last week. I'm keeping track of this shit. Trump's had multiple conversations with both Putin and Netanyahu.
They both love him.
The wars are still going, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
I'm keeping that video right here handy if you really want to know what I'm talking about. But he said, after he's elected, before he gets in office, man, one phone call. That's all it's going to take. One phone call.
It's been
multiple ones. Sorry.
As this podcast is being recorded, Israel and Palestine are still at war right now.
Yeah.
Ukraine and Russia are still at war right now. And here's Donald Trump, not even president-elect, contacting Putin and Netanyahu on the phone. That is a harbinger of disaster for... There's not going to be a Palestine or a Ukraine.
No.
And mark this. 4 years from now, we're going to come back and we're going to see if those states still exist.
I heard, this is the rumor mill, but you know what? Rumors count these days. So I heard that there's rumors coming out of Ukraine where if Trump withdraws support, that they're going to make their own like makeshift nuke, essentially. Like they have the material there.
Who, Ukraine?
Yeah. They have the material to make a nuke,
That's where
Like-
Chernobyl is, right?
like, I don't know.
Isn't
I
Chernobyl in
do not
Ukraine? I
know.
think it is.
I do
could
not
be
know.
wrong.
But like they have their own material. I guess they have their own material to make like a jury rigged nuke, essentially. like the shit that dude wrote in on what was that Stephen King TV show?
The Stand?
The Stand. He wrote they're gonna ride that shit right into the Kremlin, essentially.
How good was The Stand?
That was great. That was a
They-
great show.
Paramount Plus remade it, and it was god
I didn't
awful.
watch any of it.
It was like Alexander Skarsgård was in it, and that it did forget it.
So like that's kind of where we stand with that. So Trump has already broken his promise, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all said he's a man that says what he means and means what he says. He's already broken his promise. He's putting people in power that are actively like against Palestine and actively against
Yep.
Ukraine.
Yep. The fuck around and find out. I love it. I love how many people. It hasn't even been 2 weeks.
No.
Since the election. It's been 11 days since as we're recording this. And so many people who voted for Trump 11 days later are already regretting their vote. I said, we're going to be a couple years in this administration, and all these people who supported him and voted for him are going to regret it so much. They're regretting it now. It hasn't even started yet.
If we're being honest, it's probably less people than we think, than we hope for, that regret it. But still, it's a pretty decent amount, I think. You see Trump's he was speaking recently, and he asked Johnson, Speaker of the House, he said, you guys should push a bill through that makes it so that my term starts on November 5th, November 6th.
Right.
Because right now the economy and the stock market is doing pretty fucking good. And I don't know if everybody knows, like gas prices are coming down a little bit.
They were doing all of that under
They were
Biden.
still doing all that, but gas prices still coming down,
Right.
like as they were continuing to do. So it's funny. Just funny how the
that
world
doesn't.
works.
He can't do that. It's not how the Constitution works.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Nice one. So your shit posting has been going okay?
Yeah. It's you know what? I'm enjoying it. It's not getting as much traction as I would like to, but like I don't have as many people that hate follow the same way that you have.
Yeah.
That hate follow.
I worked hard
You
for my
did.
hate following.
You did. You worked very hard for that.
That's decades and decades of shit posting and trolling, and I have my contingency of followers who follow me just because they hate me. You'll get people who hate you.
You think so?
I think you'll get there. You just keep plugging along.
You
Just
think
keep
so?
doing God's work. Keep recording this podcast. Keep
God,
shit
I'd
posting
love-
on social
Gee
media.
golly, I would love to get to that level.
You know what? You gotta
know?
pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers.
I tell you who fucked around and found out real hard the past couple weeks. Nick Fuentes.
Oh, we talked about him last week. He was the douche of the day.
Was it last week?
We talk about him again. He's still a douche.
So yeah, he basically put out a video where he doubled down on his previous comments. He's the one that started the Your Body My Choice movement, essentially.
Yeah.
And dude's like all of 25 years old, skinny fucking dude, 130 pounds maybe soaking wet. And so there's a story that came out recently. This woman, first of all, his house was doxxed. Like people,
Which is great.
People released the address and people knew where he lived. Their pictures, his address, everything was great. So he
Did
like
you see his house?
it's like a little tiny little
It was adorable.
yeah.
It was
It's like a little dollhouse.
it was very gay. I mean that in the nicest way. My gay friends have like the nicest things. Like their houses are always adorable and well kept. And
Yeah, it's a tiny
my
little
house is a
adorable
piece of
house.
shit. I look like totally like a straight guy lives there. Like my gay friends, their houses are the cutest little things. And I saw his house. I'm like, that can't be Nick Fuentes' house.
I guess
It was
it is.
adorable. It was a cute little brown brick 2-story, like suburban house. Like it was awesome. And a freaking Nazi lives there. I was blown away.
So this woman is standing outside the house recording because she's trying to she's curious because she's like, okay, I'm here. I want to see if I catch a glimpse of like Nick Fuentes or whatever. So she's like, I want to verify it's his house. And I guess this other person is either driving by or walking by, and they're like, is that douchebag's house? And he's like, she was like, I think so. I was like, go up and ring the doorbell. Let's see. So she goes up. Mind you, the woman's recording this entire time. Goes up to ring the doorbell. I think it was before she even hit the doorbell button. Door flies open. Nick Fuentes is right there. Hits her in the face with mace. snatches her phone, and then runs aside and shuts the door. First of all, real bitch move for an alpha male to do.
Oh yeah.
Real bitch move there, Nick. I'm sorry. I thought it was her body, your choice. You know, real bitch move to hit her with the pepper spray and then snatch her phone and slam the door in her face. I guess he pushed her down the stairs too, before he went back in. But she called the cops. The cops came. She got her phone back, and she wanted to press charges against him for assault. And the cop was like, "For what? Like, you came up to his property and like rang his door and like walked up to on his property." And everybody on the internet, and I'm kind of with you. I'm like, so is that all it takes now? Is that all we have to do? Like, when Jehovah's Witness come up ringing our doorbell, we could just go out there and fucking gut kick them.
Kick him in the dick, yeah.
Yeah, fucking This Is Sparta them right off our stoop,
Dude,
like,
I'll kick a Mormon in the dick. I don't care.
I guess it's within our right now to do it.
I'll go right
So-
through their special holy underwear, whatever it is.
He was getting so much attention. Dude ran home to mommy.
I did well.
He ran home to mommy.
I heard. Now his house didn't burn down. I'm good because it's a cute little gay house, but it didn't burn down.
Yeah,
But I heard there was a fire. I imagine somebody.
I didn't hear the fire.
I did hear there was a fire, but I think it was somebody did the old classic, light a bag of shit on fire on the
There's a
doorstep.
nice piece of shit.
He called the shit poop. No, I think somebody did that and it got a little out of control. Call the fire department. This was out of control. Yeah, I think that happened, but it didn't. Like they got the fire put out, and after that happened, he ran home with his mommy, so he went to hide.
Yeah.
And again, what an alpha thing to do. Run
An alpha
go
thing
stay
to
with
do.
your mommy.
You're apparently, you're not super alpha if you run home to mommy. I mean, whatever. Hey, you know what, Nick? You fucked around. You found out.
There he is. He's back.
I'm back.
He's
staying.
back.
I'm staying.
I was wondering when
I'm gonna
asshole
see.
Adam was gonna show up.
I'm. Look, it's
Dude.
gonna be every episode. He's got to show up at some point. I'm back.
Welcome back,
I'm
asshole
back.
Adam.
I will say it's a little hard to see at night in the house. Douchebag. I guess you call me douchebag Adam because who wears sunglasses inside.
Douchebag Adam. Okay.
But oh yeah, I'm growing my winter beard out too, so shit's getting nice and
I
thick.
see that. Your beard's longer than mine right
Hey,
now.
Nick.
That's
Your body, my choice, buddy.
douchebag Adam is coming for you. I like a-hole Adam better. Can it be a-hole Adam?
Yeah, asshole Adam. I don't care.
Asshole Adam. It's an alliteration, you know.
Yeah,
like
I love
that.
alliteration.
I know you do.
Love me
Who
some
doesn't?
alliteration.
Who doesn't? What else we got on the docket for tonight?
We got some InfoWars news, Scott.
Oh no!
We have some news about InfoWars.
you talking about that- Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Oh God.
That douchebag. So his website InfoWars went up for auction.
Oh right. I heard he had to sell off all of his assets because he owed
He was a
like
lot
$1
of money.
billion to
He
the
owes
families
more
of
money
Sandy
than
Hook.
He can have. He owes more money than he's ever had in his life.
One of the shittiest things that I could ever imagine in my life was him accusing Sandy Hook of being a false flag and not happening.
That's
and
the weirdest take you could have.
It-
That's a crazy take.
First of all, there was like 30 kindergartners and first graders that were brutally murdered. Like that was one of the most horrible things.
Yeah.
If we didn't get any gun control after that happened, we'll never have gun control. Because that was the moment that I was like, "Oh my God, that was so horrible." And I
Yeah.
know there's been other mass shootings and school shootings that there have been more fatalities, but that was like the youngest group.
Yeah.
Like kindergartners, dude. First graders.
Kids just learning
Ugh.
about the world around them, and their lives were ended. So he shit talked himself into basically telling people, "Hey,
Yeah, we
shit
talked
was-
about it.
shit was it didn't happen. It's a false
Yeah,
flag.
Yeah.
It's fake news. Fake news." And then bro lost hard. That's justice right there. That's justice. Somebody like him. I was heard. Side note, thinking about it, who also lost? Rudy Giuliani's in the poorhouse
yeah,
now
he
too.
lost too.
That's fucking great too.
Yeah.
So there's a little justice coming to us, but yeah. So InfoWars went up for auction. Who purchased InfoWars?
This made me smile.
I thought it was an article. I thought it was like an like.
I thought it was
SNL
an
skit.
article from themselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is how crazy it is. Who bought Infowars?
Adam the Onion.
The fucking Onion.
And we're big Onion fans
The,
here at For Your Distraction.
It's a satire in and of itself.
Yes.
It's a satire within a satire.
So me reading an article that says the Onion purchases Infowars, I thought this was going to be an article on the Onion
Yeah.
lying about the... And no, it was real. It really happened.
I saw the video, then I immediately went to Google, found 2 articles that said it was true, and I was like, I still don't believe it. Can't be true. I had to read like 3 more articles before I confirmed to myself.
Right.
Like, they bought the Onion, and then if you go to the Infowars website, I guess I don't know if they changed it since then, but it's
did.
Last time I checked, it was a blank page.
Yeah.
There's nothing on. They took everything down.
So apparently, Alex Jones and his team of attorneys filed an injunction against the Onion, saying that how they purchased it in the court wasn't copacetic, wasn't legal, or however they did it. So there's a stay put on the sale, because I think, this is what I'd heard from other people, Alex Jones had been talking to other right-wing content creators, right-wing influencers, about them putting in a bid.
I heard he was hoping Elon Musk would buy it.
He was hoping Elon or somebody cut from that cloth, who would purchase it and allow him to still be involved. So he said that the court didn't open it up, the auction for it, correctly. So there's actually been a stay, an injunction. So the sale looks like it still will go through, and Infowars will become property of the Onion. But as of right now, the sale has been put on hold. And I mean, I think it's great that the Onion does this, but when it's all said and done, I just want the family of those children from Sandy Hook to get their money.
Yeah, get their shit.
And they're going to get paid. They're going to get a lot of money.
Sorry.
What you doing? You listening?
I'm doing an audio check. That's all. Look, asshole Adam has to step back just for a quick second. Do producer Adam.
He has to care for a minute.
Producer Adam is gone. Asshole Adam's back. Okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, I hope that they get everything that is coming to them, because they deserve, like, justice, essentially. But I'm just so happy that he's essentially, like, he's in the poorhouse too, kind of, sort of, as much in the poorhouse as I guess you can get him. So
right,
which is very nice.
So, asshole Adam,
yes,
there's
sir.
something I need to go at you with.
Come at me.
We talked, and it's
at me, bro.
It's going to be leaving politics in the dust for a little bit.
That's fine.
A big thing happened just yesterday. Just yesterday.
I think I know what you're talking about. This is still kind of politics.
Is it? Well, I think I know why. Okay.
Yeah.
There was a big boxing match, and we talked about it on this show before.
Okay.
A big boxing match.
Yeah.
Happened yesterday.
I'll be honest with you, I forgot about it until somebody was at work messaged on Teams, like, who's ready for the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight? I was like, I forgot that was even fucking happening. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was canceled or some shit. So
it got delayed once or twice because of Mike Tyson's health, but it happened last night. And we talked about this months ago on here, and I want to revisit what we talked about, because not to be that guy, but somebody here keeps being right.
It was rigged.
And somebody here keeps being wrong.
It was like the election. This shit was rigged, man.
And there's a lot of people, you're not alone by saying that. There's a lot of people that say the fight was fixed.
Oh,
I don't know if the fight was fixed, because in the days of gambling right now, like, a lot of money was bet on that. And if it was fixed, that's really, really shitty.
Oh, it was fixed. It was 100% fixed.
I said, and
I believe it.
Listen, I cannot stand the Paul brothers. Jake Paul, Logan Paul, I've never been able to stand them. I think they're terrible. What are your opinions on the Paul brothers?
They're pieces of shit. They have that internet money, that internet popularity, where they're famous for basically nothing at all.
Like the Kardashians?
Yeah, they're kind of like that, but for, like, the internet, basically. Like, they're famous for nothing at all. Like, I'm mostly gonna hate the game and not hate the players so much, but they are douchebags. They are very much douchebags.
Well, we talk about the Kardashians, and they're a great example. They're famous for nothing. They have no talent, no skills. But as much as we can't stand the Kardashians, they have a huge following.
Yeah.
They are very popular. And
I hate the Kardashians less than I hate the Paul brothers.
I agree. I do.
Because here's the thing. The Paul brothers are actual douchebags in real life.
Kardashians are too.
They're privileged. There's a
Yeah.
subtle difference. There's a subtle difference between privilege and douchebag. So I'm not a fan of them. I still think they need a hard reality check, but I think that's mostly like a privilege, always had money kind of thing.
But you could say the same thing about the Paul brothers, being that they have no talent, no skills, just being douchebags, but they have a huge following.
Yeah.
Especially a social media footprint. They have their fans that are rabid. I know somebody who loves them, watches their content all the time, was so invested in this fight, was one of the only people I know who was rooting for Jake Paul to like knock out Mike Tyson.
Who was that?
Somebody you know. I'll change his name because I don't know if he wants to be, but his name is Brent. He
Okay.
smiles a lot.
Okay. Really?
Yeah, totally.
He was rooting for Jake Paul.
Loves him. But anyway,
Disappointed.
I don't like the Pauls
No.
at all. Can't stand them. Mike Tyson, on the other hand, I was a fan, especially back in the 90s in his prime. I was a big Mike Tyson fan.
Minus the rape.
That goes without saying.
Minus
Goes without
that.
saying.
So,
He did some pretty awful things, yeah.
yeah,
But
not great.
as far as a fighter goes, Iron Mike was the baddest man on the planet. There's no denying that.
No.
I was the one who said on this very show, go back and listen, a month or so ago, I said, Mike Tyson is going to get his ass handed to him. And you, my friend, said I was wrong.
I said Iron Mike is gonna whoop the piss out of Jake Paul. You're gonna whoop
I think
the
that is what you said.
shit out of him.
And I said, no effing way. I hope he does. Because Jake Paul needs a serious butt whooping. But Mike Tyson is 60 freaking years old. And Jake Paul is 30. He is half of his age. There is no way. Father Time, Adam, is undefeated. Undefeated. Mike Tyson, there's no way he could move in that ring anymore.
But again, though, I'm gonna say this, and because I was watching videos of him training.
Of him what?
Of him training for.
I mean, listen, we talking about practice, not a game. We talking about practice.
You're not talking about the fight. You're talking about him practicing.
What I'm saying is, I was watching videos of him training, and dude was lightning fast. Dude was moving around the ring. Dude was hitting it was like you remember the scene in the one Rocky movie where he was fighting Drogo.
Yeah.
And it was like the
Rocky
montage
4.
of Rocky doing the actual hardcore training, and then Drogo
Pulling a
had
tree through the snow.
yeah, and then Drogo had
So cool.
had fucking wires connected to him while he was using it. That's what it was, because it would cut to Jake Paul's training, and it was the most minuscule kind of bullshit kind of training that you would be like, oh, there's no way he's gonna win. But then you cut back to Mike Tyson at 60, fucking lightning fast fist, dude's ducking and diving, dude's fucking dodging all around the ring, dude's moving.
Adam, I need you to look at me. Okay, hopefully you can see me through your
Yeah.
sunglasses. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Rocky wasn't real.
No, I'm just using the comparison.
It's a movie. It was all scripted.
That's why I'm saying this is scripted. I believe
That could be.
wholeheartedly that he threw. I believe that because from what I heard about the fight, he wasn't moving that fast. He was a little sluggish. He wasn't hitting as hard. I'm telling you, dude. Telling you, go back and watch those training videos pre-fight.
I mean, listen,
I don't give
about
fucking end that shit real quick. I don't want to hear that bullshit anymore.
Talking about practice, man.
Right, but what I'm saying is when you move that fast, look, I think boxing's a little bit different when it comes to that kind of thing, because when you're in the ring practicing and you're dipping and diving and you're dodging punches and you're moving as quickly as you can, and then you move slower in the actual game, the actual match, Something ain't right.
You couldn't be any more wrong, and let me explain to you why. Did you watch the fight?
No, I didn't watch.
I watched the whole fight. You probably don't realize this. Mike Tyson won the first and second round. He scored more hits. He was awarded by the judges the first and second round. There's 8 rounds. He didn't win any more after 1 and 2. And that's because when you were watching
listen, we talking about practice.
when you were watching the training or the practice, how long did you watch it for?
It was like minutes.
Minutes! Exactly, minutes. He's a 60-year-old man. For minutes, he was good. The first 2 rounds, 2-3 minutes each, he was good. He won. He has no stamina at that age. You had to be in the ring for a long period of time, not just a few good minutes of punching hard and moving around. No, by the end, by the 5th, 6th round, his feet were in cement. He could not move, and rightfully so. He's 60 years old. I credit him just to get into that ring.
I had also heard, and this one I don't know how true it is. I had also heard from people that pay attention to like mostly boxing and stuff like that. That's like their big thing. Like I guess part of the reason, like they were expecting like him to knock him out within the first couple rounds.
Knock who out?
They were expecting Tyson to knock out Jake Paul in the first couple rounds, and they were like, the problem with that is he's not gonna do that because he doesn't get paid as much money if he knocks him out too early.
I don't know if.
So
I don't know what Tyson's finances are like.
So there were some people speculating that like he could do it, but he's not going to because he gets more money if he waits more rounds.
Completely disagree. Tyson was my favorite, but he has that killer instinct too. He's not going to play those games. Tyson in his prime, Iron Mike, the baddest guy on the planet.
My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
I want to eat your children. Lennox Lewis. I eat your children. He was so badass. He would not do that. He's old. Plain and simple. You're fighting somebody that could be your kid. He's half your age.
If you're gonna make the argument that he's old, so therefore
old as dirt.
Therefore he's not. Therefore he's changed so much that he can't last as long.
Sure.
You can also make the argument that he's old, so he's changed so much that maybe he wants a little extra money. Doesn't give 2 shits about the fight. He just wants to like drag it out a little longer so he gets paid more. You can make the same argument.
I don't know what his finances are.
The only thing he's done in the past, like, decade is those Hunger Games movies. Not Hunger Games. I mean,
he was in the Hunger Games?
The Hangover movies.
How did anybody win the Hunger Games if Tyson was in it? Shit! The Hangover movies.
Yeah, the Hangover. That's, like, the only thing he's done the past, like, decade. Like, he hasn't done anything else.
The Hangover 1 was funny.
That was the only funny one, though.
Yeah, the other one sucked.
I never watched any of the other ones all the way through, but I watched enough of clips of them that I'm like, I don't want to watch this bullshit.
Yeah, there's 3 of them, I think, right?
But that's the only shit he's done in the past like decade, basically. He hasn't done anything else, so his finances can't be that great. He also doesn't strike me as a guy who's careful with his money, also. Like, look, I love Iron Mike too, and it's not just because of his voice. It doesn't strike me as the smartest guy. So, like, I'm betting he's not smart with his finances. I'd be willing to bet.
He's a pretty wild guy. He's a fascinating character. He told a story recently.
He's a rapist. Remember that.
Oh,
he is a rapist.
It gets better or worse.
So...
I'm not sure. He told a story. This story came out this week. He was telling a story about back in his prime. He was having sex with this girl with one of his friends. They were tag teaming her, 2 guys and 1 girl. And they were both raw dogging her, right? Turns out the girl had AIDS.
Oh.
She had AIDS. His friend, who was banging her with him, got AIDS. And Mike Tyson didn't. The girl who they had sex with and his friend both died of AIDS. And Mike Tyson is impregnable.
My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable.
His defense? Impregnable.
I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
That story dropped this week. I don't know if that was something that was already talked about in the past, but
that's horrible.
It's horrible.
It's so terrible.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Praise be to
That's
Allah.
why he look. It's like Chuck Norris, man. AIDS didn't beat him. He beat AIDS. That's how strong he is. That's why he couldn't have lost to Jake Paul. You've just made my argument for him. So
I wanted Mike Tyson to win. I knew he wouldn't.
again,
I knew he wouldn't. But he didn't get knocked out.
I feel like I gotta say this for the third time. We understand he's a piece of shit. He's a rapist. He's not a good person.
They were both pieces of shit.
I don't know if Jake Paul's a rapist though. That's the thing. That's the weirdest part of this rooting session. We're rooting. We're like MAGAs. We're rooting for the rapist.
The Paul brothers are big MAGAs, aren't they?
I don't know. They look like it.
After Jake Paul won,
they look like people that follow the teachings of what's the fucking douchebag, the sex trafficker.
Oh, Andrew Tate.
Yeah, they look like they would follow the teachings
like
of
Andrew Tate bros.
Yeah, that's what they look like.
After the fight was over and Jake Paul was declared the winner, of course, he gets the microphone and he was saying stuff like, "America's back, baby." And I'm just like, oh. He had a red hat on. It wasn't a MAGA hat, but I think what he was going with. Because he saw how Bosa, one of the players for the 49ers, you heard about this?
Yeah, he was, they were like,
he had a MAGA hat on
after the
yeah.
game. He like jumped in an interview and said, fuck yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of people that were like shit talking, being like, and this is very accurate, why the fuck didn't he get kicked out? But like Kaepernick got kicked out.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, he did it after the game. People are like, Kaepernick did it before the game. So it's not even during, he didn't even interrupt the game.
Right.
So where's the justice then?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because
Kaepernick is a black man.
I was literally going to say it's because he's black.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children. Praise be to Allah.
I love that soundbite. That's so good.
Shit like that reminds me of that Key and Peele sketch whenever they're doing that interview with the football players, like, you know, we just get 110%, you know, just saying nonsense.
Yeah,
like
coach speak, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
So, Tyson, I mean, you're a rapist. You kind of suck.
Oh, yeah, you deserve hepatitis A, B, and C.
Well, he doesn't get it because his style's impregnable.
I don't know. If he lost, if he really lost to Jake Paul, he better.
He's 60.
He better wrap it tight.
Adam, he is 60 effing years old.
I don't care.
I can't stress this enough.
I don't care.
That is old. That is old to be a professional fighter.
I don't care. I don't care.
I want to see Jake Paul fight Canelo Alvarez. Are you a boxing fan? Do you like boxing?
No, I'm not a big boxing fan.
You're not a big sports guy. I kind of wish you were. I love sports.
Here's the thing. I enjoy sports when I'm watching it with people, but I'm not a big sports guy. I spend a lot of my time alone. I don't enjoy it when I watch alone. It's boring. It's boring watching it alone. I like it when I watch it with people, like if we're hanging out and you know how Mike used to do his like yearly Super Bowl party and we go over there and we'd hang out. So that's fun.
The Super Bowl is like an event, though.
But I'm just saying, like I can watch I can watch a regular football game with people I know. But like, invite me out to a fucking party whenever you're watching football and I'll enjoy it.
I watch by myself. I'm doing what you said you don't like to do.
I don't like watching. It's not fun to watch by you. And do you know? I'm gonna say it again. I've said it about 1,000 times. You know the thing that makes it not fun? The epic amount of commercials they play constantly.
It's a lot of commercials. Yeah.
The last football game I watched alone, and this is the moment I decided to stop watching football. So there was a play that was run. They go to a commercial. They come back from the commercial. Nothing happens. Then they go to another commercial. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't have the patience. I do not have the attention span for that. I really don't.
That does happen from time to time.
When I'm watching Netflix or Hulu here, because I have the ads Hulu, because I'm not paying the extra money for the ad-free Hulu, when a ad pops up, I will pull my phone up and pull up TikTok and watch a couple videos in between the ads.
I do that too.
I do not have the attention span for commercials. I just don't. I do not have it. So that's why I don't do it.
Fair enough.
Don't get me wrong. I would love to be into sports like you. I've missed a lot of conversations because I'm not into sports. But you know, it's what it is. It is what it is.
Well, you don't watch sports. What have you been watching?
So I've been watching a lot of What We Do in the Shadows. A lot of
The new
starts-
season?
The new season. I've been
How's it
watching-
going?
It's pretty funny. Pretty funny.
I
Last
haven't
season.
started it yet.
Last season, I've been watching Lower Decks.
I have too.
That's great.
I have
That's
two.
always fucking
Last
great.
season of
Last
that
season
also.
of that too. Yeah. I got back. You know, it took me a little bit because I had to. Election was coming up, so I had to give it up for a little bit. I went back to the Penguin.
I've finished the Penguin.
I haven't finished it. I'm in the last like 2 or 3.
Okay.
I'm in the last like 3
it's
episodes.
a really good show.
It's
it's
fucking good.
It's like my favorite show. Of
Yeah,
the
I'm
year so
I'm
far.
shocked at how good that show
I did not
is.
expect it to be that good.
And I didn't start watching it like it was like 4 episodes in before I decided, you know what, I'll give it a try, and I watched it. I got hooked. It's so good.
Colin Farrell needs an award.
He's so fucking great.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I'm worried. I'm worried that we're never gonna see the Penguin in like the gang leader like taking over the town Penguin version.
Oh, you didn't watch the last episode.
I told you I'm like 3-4 episodes behind.
I don't want to spoil it.
But like, cause like, did you watch any of the Gotham show?
A little bit, very little.
I watched a little bit of that too, and we had the Penguin in there, and the person who played the Penguin. He wasn't like a big fat guy; he was super skinny,
Yeah.
but he played a pretty good Penguin. But like again, he was always like a second tier kind of villain. He wasn't a big gang boss. And then we get Colin Farrell,
Right.
And he's like kind of second tier almost. He's not like a big gang boss that we know and love from like the comic books
Right.
and everything.
But
that's what I want to see.
let me stop you here. You want to see the mob boss.
The big
Penguin,
big
because
mob
he
boss.
was a mob boss in certain iterations. There's another iteration of the Penguin where he was something else. Do you remember?
He was a politician. Talking about Batman Returns.
Buckle up.
I'm gonna finish it. I've gotten
Okay.
back into it. I've watched an episode and a half today. I'm gonna keep rolling through it because it's fucking great. But I'm getting back into it. So that's all I've been watching pretty much. I'm watching. I don't think
Really
I've
great
watched
show.
much else.
I finished. Actually, I binged it really quick. I finished Agatha All Along.
I haven't watched it. I don't
It's
know if I'm going to.
spin-off of WandaVision. So I came to realize with the Disney Plus series that revolve around the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's been a lot of them.
Yes,
Some of them have been very underwhelming.
a lot of them been very. Underwhelming.
I think. What would you say your favorite one is?
I didn't watch a lot of them though. Like I didn't watch She-Hulk. I didn't watch the Nick Fury one.
Secret Invasion.
I didn't watch that either. Yeah, I didn't watch that.
I watched both of those.
I guess of the ones that I watched, my favorite might be Loki. I guess.
Okay.
I think it's the best one. I think.
You think it's the best one?
I think it is. Yeah.
I agree. I think Loki is the best.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's my favorite. My favorite is WandaVision. Loki is the best. WandaVision is my favorite.
I think for WandaVision, there are parts that I love about that show. I
Really
wouldn't
love
say
that
I
show.
love the entire series.
I love the entire series. I think that show is phenomenal. But I realize it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's very unique. Loki is more traditional. Loki's very well done, especially that ending. Perfect ending. Arguably the most perfect
Yeah.
ending. Again, don't want to spoil it because it gives a lot away. But Loki is the best. WandaVision, my favorite.
My favorite scene in WandaVision was the scene where they're arguing whenever Vision is kind of like has questions and Wanda's trying to like deflect him, and it cuts to the like credits that are rolling and stuff like that, and she goes in the next room as if it's going to cut away, and he just continues the argument and it gets really serious.
Mhm.
That's my favorite moment of that entire
And
show.
her magic happens, like
And then
the
he like
doors,
floats up the ears like
yeah,
he's like
yeah.
freaking out and just argue. That's a great moment. That
The
scene is
movie
my
that
favorite.
show's really good. So I always kind of wanted more of that, and we finally get it. And I was so late to the game. This show came out in October, like right around Halloween, and I watched.
Perfect time for it to come out.
Perfect time for it to come out. I watched it after. I just finished it this week in November, and I feel like I should have watched this around Halloween. It's like spooky.
Yeah.
It's like witches.
Yeah. Well, duh.
Yeah.
Spoiler, Scott.
I know.
Agatha's a witch.
I know, but like
Shh! Don't tell anybody.
Aubrey Plaza's in it.
She's great.
Oh my God,
She's
how
great in
good is
everything.
she?
She's great in everything.
Everything. She's a really good character in this. Not quite as good as her character on Legion. How
That's
good
great.
is Legion?
Legion is amazing.
Oh, that doesn't
is
count
amazing.
because it's not a Disney Plus show, but it is a Marvel show.
You know,
That would be
you know
my
the
favorite.
craziest
That
thing
would be my
You know
favorite.
what craziest thing Disney would be able to do is if they somehow shoehorned Legion into the Disney Plus universe of Marvel stuff.
They
where,
own
like,
it now.
Where,
They own it.
Where Legion, they bring the same actor back.
Dan
and he just-
Stevens.
yes, and they just
He was
they
so
just-
good.
and they bring him back, and he shows up just in a show. Just show him up in any show, like in whatever show. Just randomly shows up.
Like, do a cameo?
Yeah, he's like cameo real quick, and you're like, oh my god, like you lose your
Legion,
fucking mind.
David was like the most powerful mutant
yeah,
of any of them.
yeah.
He was just also mentally unstable and mentally
Yes.
ill. And it's such a cool premise. And
I watch a lot of TikTok videos and stuff like that, and like I come across like comic books and stuff like
Yeah.
that. People talk about like comic book stories. I guess Fantastic Four's Reed Richards and Sue Storm's son is actually like the most powerful mutant to ever exist. I guess
they're not mutants though, are they?
They're not, but I guess their son is,
Okay.
and I don't know if he's more powerful than Legion, but he has like reality bending powers where he can create and destroy universes at like a thought. Like from all the videos I've seen him, he's like the strongest fucking
Mhm.
like character basically in like the Marvel universe. One
So
of them at
we
least.
have the Fantastic Four movies coming out. Pedro Pascal, right, is playing Reed Richards.
Is it? I'll be honest with you. I've put my head in the sand. I know nothing about the
So-
Fantastic Four upcoming movie. All I know is it's supposed to take place back in the past.
Yes.
That's all I know about it.
So I think Pedro Pascal is playing Reed Richards, and I don't know how I feel about that. Listen, I'm kind of getting oversaturated with Pedro Pascal. He's a phenomenal actor.
I think
Phenomenal. I like him, but he's in a lot of stuff right now.
I think a great casting was John Krasinski.
I
in
want that.
Doctor Strange 3 or 2.
Yes. I want him as my Reed Richards and
he
Emily
was
Blunt as my Sue Storm.
He was a really and look, this isn't just like fanboyism. I love John Krasinski in a lot of stuff. He's really good in a lot of stuff. He was a really good Reed Richards. He
And
was,
it was
a
just
really
such
good
a
one.
small sampling size.
He played it really well. Like it's like when you see Patrick Stewart as Xavier, you look at him, you're like, that's
great.
Xavier.
He's
That's
great.
Xavier. When you look at John Krasinski as Reed Richards, you're like, that's fucking Reed
It
Richards.
was.
That's
It
what he
was.
is. It's like a perfect casting. But they're not gonna do it. Or they might. They'll bring him back. Who knows?
Hugh Jackman was kind of the perfect Wolverine,
Yeah.
but a lot of people didn't like it initially back in the days of X-Men and X-Men 2 because Hugh Jackman's like a big dude.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine was always like not big.
He is 5'4" is what he is in the
Like
comics.
Hugh Jackman's like 6'1".
Yeah.
Like no. Like yeah, that was
that was
people's
the joke
problem.
of the Deadpool 3 movie. That was
They
a big
did
joke.
make that joke.
They made that joke.
Oh, coming accurate, Logan. I kind of like that.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was pretty good. But I would say that what's his name? Henry Cavill.
Yes.
He would have been even worse because they showed him because he was supposed to play a Wolverine, and they brought him as a variant in Deadpool 3.
He's gonna come back. I bet you.
He's enormous.
I bet you he's gonna come back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. He's doing the Warhammer thing for Prime, so we'll see about that.
He's also doing Highlander,
That's right. He's doing that,
which is
too.
going to kick so much ass.
It's gonna kick all the
It's
ass.
gonna have
It's
so.
gonna
Oh my
kick
god!
all the fucking
I'm
ass.
so excited for oh my god! Like I want to like hang out with Henry Cavill. Like I feel like he likes all the things we like.
I think he likes the things I like more than the things you like. Honestly,
I like those things.
But you know nothing about the Warhammer universe. You don't play video games. You don't play World of Warcraft. You don't play MMOs. You don't play
I'm
any of that shit.
familiar. I'm familiar with
I've
it.
heard of these things.
You could be an outside and you could be an independent person and still appreciate what it is. Like I don't play in the NFL and I like it.
I know concepts of these things that you're talking about, gentlemen.
Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Was that a perfect casting?
This is perfect casting. How do you? And I don't know if we talked about this before, but segueing into what I was actually the point I was going to bring up. So they're bringing him back as Doctor Doom. I understand
Yeah.
it's going to be a variant.
It's a variant, right?
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well,
I don't.
you do know in the comics,
I don't give a fuck.
This is so cool.
I don't. I know what you're gonna say. I don't care.
Victor Von Doom becomes the invincible Iron Man. You do know this,
Yes.
right?
I don't
Adam,
care.
this is opening the door
The
for us to
reason-
get Iron Man back.
The reason why I don't care is because as a lot of people, they're relying too much on the variants. They're relying too much on the variants a little bit. They need to pump the brakes a little bit. Like, not every story needs to be a variant-based story. It doesn't need to be every fucking story. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
I have a Marvel Legends action figure of the invincible Iron Man, and instead of being the red and gold, it's the gray and green. And
Yeah.
instead of the Iron Man mask, it's the Doctor Doom mask. Other than that, it's just like the mark,
Yeah.
whatever. It is so fucking cool.
Look,
if they bring that to cinema, I will shit my
Look,
pants.
Doctor Doom is a fantastic villain. He's one of the best villains in the entire Marvel universe. He absolutely is. Because here's the thing, the only reason why they're bringing Robert Downey Jr. back is because they've lost so much traction and people have been sick of a lot of the shit they've been doing. They've lost a little bit of popularity. Because
big time.
So that's the only reason, and that's why I hate it. Like, you're only doing it not because you think it's a good idea for the story. You just want to bring people back to go see it as a popular because it's Robert Downey Jr. That's the only reason why. Like, if you really want to drag me back to it to get me excited, give me a good casting that actually like fuses with the rest of the universe. Like, we need to, as I said, we got to pump the brakes a little bit on the variant stuff. It's gotten out of hand. We need to reel it back in. We do it like Loki did at the end of season 2, where he just reels it all back in. We got to reel it back in a little bit. We got to reel the shit back in.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I don't think Doctor Doom was in the plan right away. I think they had to abort.
How? He's
Listen,
a classic Fantastic Four villain. How is it not into their plan?
to be the ultimate baddie for the MCU going forward. I think they were all in on Kang the Conqueror.
Well, yeah, duh.
But then
they had to make a left turn.
They had to make a left turn because shit hit the fan with Jonathan Majors. And the last Ant-Man movie was dog shit.
Yes, it was terrible.
It made Thor the Dark World look like Citizen Kane.
It was on par. It was on par with Thor. I don't know which one I don't like more, but like it was on par with that.
No, I hated the latest Ant-Man.
The only thing that saved Ant-Man 3 even a little bit was Paul Rudd. That was it.
Paul Rudd can only do so much.
I know. He can only lift so much.
The writing in that. Not only did they ruin Kang, who's a good villain, they ruined MODOK.
Yeah.
Which, wow.
That was the lamest version of MODOK we could have gotten.
Who's your favorite Marvel villain?
So, my favorite Marvel villain, we're going to go back to my favorite Marvel organization. We're going to go back to the X-Men.
X-Men. I figured
I love the X-Men. That's my favorite iteration of Marvel, of the characters. I'm going to go between the two. That's got to be Magneto.
I knew it.
I was Magneto.
I was
thinking
that.
Apocalypse. I was thinking Apocalypse, but Apocalypse is little much. He's a little much.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, my problem with Apocalypse, there's not enough motivation for me to give a shit about his problems, but like Magneto's a great villain. Because Magneto's a villain that, like, oh fuck Magneto, but I get why he's angry.
There's certain iterations of Magneto where he's not a villain, he's an anti-hero.
I think it's the same iteration, just as his growth as a character.
I agree.
It's his growth as a character. We saw it in the X-Men 97.
So good.
So good. I went back and rewatched that Mutant Island episode where it falls, shit like
Genovia.
that. Genova. Oh my god, it's a beautiful.
So good.
I cried again.
Up until that point, the show was kind of on par with the original animated.
It was lighthearted. Like,
then
hey,
they hit us in the dick. They hit us in the dick with that.
Let's fucking go. And then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna flick your balls a little. We're gonna tap.
Guess
we're gonna
what?
ball tap you.
It's not the '90s anymore, bitches. Take this in the taint." And they did that to us.
My favorite moment of the show.
That's not how it works.
My favorite moment of the show, and I texted you this when I was watching it again. And you were like, "No fucking shit." You saw the Watcher in that episode of the Genova episode. You saw the outline of him.
I didn't
looking
notice it.
down.
You pointed
I
it
was
out to me.
rewatching it, and I was looking at the night sky. And it's like, why are they focused on it? And I saw, is that the fucking Watcher? It was the Watcher.
Which, by the way, I
So
went
good.
back. I had never finished the second season of What If. It got good.
I didn't
started
watch
out
I didn't
slow.
watch any of What If season 2.
So I like season 1 more than season 2, but I started season 2 and they had like some weird heroes and some weird stories,
Yeah.
and I kind of lost. There was like 3 episodes I never watched in season 2. I just went back and watched it, but it ended really well. Season 3's coming out soon. Final season of What If. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
My favorite villain. You know this.
I know.
It's
you're gonna say.
Ultron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always has been Ultron. Love Ultron. There's rumors of him coming back. I would love that. I would love to see, because he was done dirty.
What was his name that did the voice of Ultron?
James Spader.
James Spader. That's right. He's fucking great voice.
Great
voice.
Great actor too.
Yes.
Yeah. Ugh. I feel like Age of Ultron was a little bit of a letdown. There was so much more potential there. I don't think that should have been the end of Ultron. There should have been more after that. And I told you my theory, what they should have done at
Yeah.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
But the Russo brothers went a different route, which I respect. But now, I think they're like, oh, if we had Ultron right now, just think what they could do. What a good
I
villain.
say that video.
What a good villain.
That video, that TikToker that does nothing but like comic book stuff. When he went into like a deep dive in like the Ultron's family.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I thought you'd enjoy that. I thought you'd get a kick out of that one, because it goes
Yeah.
into like, because Ultron isn't just Ultron. He has like a
He has, like, a
son
wife and a daughter.
Yeah,
Like, he started, when we saw him, he created, like, the drones, the other.
yeah.
He
But they were
can
just like
create
extensions of himself, though.
Right.
That's not what these were. These
No.
were individual AI programs that he basically created as like his family.
One of
essentially.
them, like, betrayed him and joins the Avengers.
Yeah.
I don't ever remember that in the comics, but I didn't read all of them, so.
Yeah, no, that's
Ah,
dude. Speaking of comics, have you finished those comic books that we've been reading? You finished
No,
those?
I haven't finished
You
them
haven't finished them yet?
Haven't finished them
Okay.
yet. That's on my to-do list. I needed to take a break until the election was
Yeah.
finished, and now it is, so it's on my.
I want to talk about it with you.
Okay.
I want to gauge your.
Are they good? You like them?
I'm enjoying them so far.
Okay.
I'm ready. I think I'm ready to go back to the comic book shop and buy
Get the next set?
The next set of
Okay.
ones.
Let me
so-
get them. Are they quick reads? Or are they?
They're pretty quick. They're individual comics, so yeah, they're not.
Yeah, I
large.
used to read I used to read a comic pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're.
I just
pretty
didn't know
quick.
they were a little bit more adult oriented, so I didn't know if they were a little more intense.
I mean, the content of them are. a little
Sometimes
more
graphic
adult-oriented.
novels can be
Graphic novels are a different, whole different.
a whole
kettle of
different
fish.
kettle of fish.
They're
yeah, I
not
know.
graphic. They're comic books, but
Yeah.
they're very mature because of
Okay.
the violence stuff like
I'm
that.
gonna-
But like,
I'm
yeah, they're
gonna-
quick reads.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I promise. I want to, so you don't have to make me do it. I want to.
No, I just want to know
Mhm.
because I want to talk about.
Yeah,
it,
I
you
do
know,
too,
we'll
I do too.
discuss them.
Adam,
Scott,
is it about that time?
it's about the time.
Damn, goes so quick when we're having fun.
It goes.
Adam, why
so
don't you let the
quick.
people know how they can get a hold of us here at For Your Distraction?
If
How they
you-
can listen to us, how they can watch us, and what can they do to help?
If you want to get a hold of For Your Distraction, you can email us fordistraction@gmail.com. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter,
For now.
for now. We'll
I
see.
said,
About
are we going to
that.
make our exit like everyone else?
That's up to you, man.
We're
You-
going to go to Blue Sky?
You control all that stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm the social media director.
I'll make a Blue Sky account and I'll give it to you, and you can control that if you want to. But you might see us on Blue Sky next. So you can find us For Distraction at Podcast FYD. We are on Podbean. We are on Spotify. We are on iTunes. You can search for us on there, For Distraction.
How's Podbean working out?
I'm liking Podbean.
Okay.
I'm enjoying it a little bit. You know, it's pretty good. I'm still getting used to it, but you know, I think it's a great. It's an app designed for podcasters. So I think that's what makes it like really unique and really nice. We are still a member of the Electronic Media Collective, so head over to electronicmediacollective.com and you can listen to us and a bunch of other really great shows on there. We do our live streams for the show whenever we record, so you can view them on Facebook. They will stay up there, so you can even view them after the fact. We also upload the video to our YouTube channel, so the link for the YouTube is in the description of this show. I'm keeping them in the stream, and on all our descriptions for all of our other applications, Podbean, whatever, you can find the link to them on there to access them after the fact. If you want to go subscribe to there, we still have a Patreon set up, so you can search for 4 Distraction.
We got bonus content tonight? We're going to wait.
We'll wait. We're gonna wait. So we were doing some bonus content. There's at least 6 or 7 episodes on our Patreon. It's $1 a month. You can, show support that you love the show by giving us $4 a month, and you can get some bonus stuff up on there. We've been pumping the brakes on some of the bonus stuff because the election's been going on. It's been, we got some personal life stuff going on in our lives, so it's been a little difficult.
We
to
got
add
big
that
things
stuff,
coming,
so
though.
We do have big things coming. Big things coming. Speaking of that. We may be doing a Twitch soon, so we'll be able to simultaneously
Looking forward to that.
stream on both Facebook.
A lot of our
Live.
fans, people have been clamoring to get us on Twitch.
Yeah,
it's more of a gaming thing, right? I don't typically utilize it.
It's mostly for gaming, but it's evolved since then, so that you can do a lot of other great stuff on there. So
We'll give it a try.
We might do some live stream on
Give it a
Twitch. I have a program I'm experimenting with where we can dual stream between both Facebook and Twitch at the same time, so we shouldn't lose the Facebook streaming. So if you like to watch us on there, that should still exist.
Okay, great.
I'm trying to think. There was something else. I'm trying to think. The rum's hitting the brain. I don't remember.
Rum brain. Start being like Captain Jack Sparrow. Which, by the way, did you hear? The new Pirates of the Caribbean?
He's coming back?
Yes, but he's not the main character.
See,
which is disappointing. At least he's coming back.
Doesn't matter.
At least he's coming back.
Doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter. He's got to be the main character. He's got to be the main character because that's why you watch those fucking movies. I'm sorry. I know that they probably wanted it to be like their own individual thing because of the ride, based on the ride and all that other bullshit. But like, guess what? Johnny Depp stole the show, so he's become the main character of that shit.
There's also a rumor out there that they're doing a Pirates of the Caribbean spin-off Disney Plus TV series.
Starring Johnny Depp?
Starring Millie Bobby Brown as
again
Johnny Depp's estranged love child.
He's probably got like 50 love childs out there, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised they haven't done an animated show where all the...
They did an animated show.
All Jack Sparrow's kids form their own pirate crew, and they have
Dude,
their own
the
boat.
animated show rocks.
I ain't hear about
It's
this
so
bullshit.
good. It's older. It's like around the Black Pearl days. It's like the 2000s. But it was so good, and it's not on Disney Plus. And Jerry Bruckheimer can eat my entire ass.
Even Walt's ashamed of that. That's what that is. Even his
From beyond the grave, his head's in a jar.
Is frozen in a jar. He's ashamed of it.
Impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat your children. Praise be to Allah.